okay. Not okay. We're not okay. We're just going to start with it. Maybe we can get a lower third. This is warning.
Tread lightly.
It's been that kind of morning.
Yes, it has been. I feel great. I'm on, I want to say, like a victory high. Like,
yes,
it is. America just keeps winning. And it's not even just America. It's like the whole world, because we have a president who exudes peace through strength. And I cannot be more proud of the man that we have put in the White House. I cannot be more proud of Americans who have voted to put this man in the White House.
What do you always say? It's like the high tides raise all boats, right? And I think this kind of, they're going to call it nationalism as if it's a bad thing. Why wouldn't you be pro your nation? Like, we should be, everybody should love their homeland.
When you're here, you should be all about America, like 10 toes down, all in.
Right, but I mean, people in other nations should love their country just as much, that they stay and fight for it. And I think they're seeing this, what's taking place in our country, and they're going, I want a bit of that. And isn't that exactly what freedom does? It's actually the same thing that faith does. Courage, same thing. It's contagious. And that's why the enemy's always after it.
Got to walk it out. All right, tell us. Actually, well, first, let's give out our thanks and praise to, God, our Father. That's first.
Yes.
But also, everybody watching and listening from wherever it is you're watching, listening from, we appreciate you. Spotify audience, we love y'all so much. Yes. I know you can't see us, but I know that you laugh when we speak. So that's great. We appreciate you guys on your drive to work, wherever you're at. If you have us on in your earbuds while you're working, just don't tell your boss if you laugh. Just say, oh, I just thought of something. But
I'm hearing voices in my ear.
Right.
Maybe not that part. Maybe not that part.
And thank you so much to our YouTube audience. We really appreciate you guys. Keep subscribing. We would love to give back to you guys by hosting a wonderful celebration. If we can reach 1 million subscribers, we would really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much.
Let's change that to when. When we reach 1 million subscribers. And guys, make sure that you comment. We do check those throughout the show. Today, we're going to be talking about something that's close to our hearts, because we were just live on TikTok, and I told that audience the same thing. You are all, whether you know it or not, you have the ability to kind of have an accountability as a citizen journalist. Everybody carries one of these phones in your hands. And when you see something, we need to be shedding light on what's going on in the streets, especially if you're living in these areas like Portland and other places. So today we're going to talk about the independent journalist roundtable that Trump had in Washington, D.C., talking to a lot of those that are colleagues with us. And so we're going to get to what took place there. We're also going to talk a little bit about this first phase of the peace deal that Trump has kind of played a crucial role in trying to broker there in the Middle East. But we're also going to discuss some things that have taken place on our soil, just like now finding out about the person who originally lit the Palisades fire, the arson. Did you know that was started by arson and then was allowed to continue just because of the incompetencies of those in California in leadership? We're also going to talk about this bribery recording from Biden. Oh, you're not going to want to go anywhere. Stay tuned, guys. Let's
open the mic.
We started, we're wearing our red hat tonight. It takes more than just a feeling. Oh, better be believing, and America's gonna be home.
What do you do when they try to cancel you? MAGA Nation, we cancel proof. My red hat stays on. My red hat stays on. You know I love God, but in Trump I trust. November 5th, he gon' ride with us. Our red hat stays on. Our red hat stays on. It's the mayor of Maggie,ville, the RNC King. 2024, freedom gon' ring. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. I'm still fighting for each one of you. And keep your red hat on.
Very close to a peace deal. We're not the same. I love the White House press. Oh my goodness, whoever is running their social media, we thank you. We love you.
We love you
so much.
Thank you. Because there's good.
These memes are like, they hold no bones.
Listen, I think they've got like younger people in this press corps.
It's definitely Gen Z or millennial. I mean, maybe a Gen Xer in there, because the sarcasm.
Yeah, the sarcasm. Thank you. Yes, the sarcasm.
You know what I'm saying?
I know.
And that's millennial and Gen Z. That's just how we operate.
Sarcasm.
Oh, I love it.
And see, parents always thought, don't be such a smart, you know what? But look how it's paying off, though. So were we wrong?
Like that song said, they said I was too much, but now that's how I get paid.
I'm being extra?
Yeah.
I love it.
Like, too much, too loud, talk too much, too bold, too courageous. You got too much to say. Nobody, calm down.
Then go get less if you don't like it. Go get less.
Come too much. Go find less.
Ooh.
Go play in the playground with the trolls that you're used to.
When's that female show coming out? We got it. Okay, guys, let's start with what's taking place in the streets across the nation on a few of these Democrat-run stronghold states and cities. So Boston is beautiful. First of all, Boston is the home for one of my favorite boy bands, for all of you that are in that same age group. You know, that was the birthplace.
So thought you were going to go historical and you went boy band.
I am woman first, okay? I've got priorities. I'm just saying it's historical in the founding of our nation, clearly, but it's historical.
You went boy band.
And boy band. And I'm just saying, there are people, like, I don't care about the pop.
Harvard. Like, that's what I was thinking.
Tea party.
Yeah, like, no, she went boy band. Hey, make boy bands great again.
Thank you. Thank you. God, you know what, Allie? Called me out.
I love you.
So Boston is a wonderful historical place for many reasons. But last night they had mobs taking to the streets of Boston.
Crazy.
Masked. I'm sure this isn't
Of course.
not for COVID, obviously, but masked Islamists taken to the streets. Take a look. Yeah, we'll bring it back.
Sounds like a banshee. First of all, did they not get the memo? They're like shouting free Palestine. Did you not get the memo? Are we freeing Palestine from Hamas? Because that's what's happening.
And again, what is Palestine? It's not a state. It's
the people.
Okay, but
free the people. Are we freeing the Palestinian people from the
would a peace deal, in fact, not be free?
Right. That's they didn't get the memo. Apparently, I'm hoping
maybe they got the same cell service I got. Are we gonna?
I don't know, because this is I think this is crazy. And so when Trump had his roundtable with a lot of our independent journalist friends, there was talk of he kept trying to get them to like say something else other than just Antifa, right? Like, are there other groups? I'm surprised there aren't other groups being talked about.
Oh, that's right.
This is one of the other groups that needs to be talked about, radical Islamists. And it honestly, and one of the journalists said that, they all fall under the same thing. It's not really about a name or a specific group. It's about the violence that's occurring, which is true. So this is just crazy.
And this is what happens when you live in an area where, if you don't have the leadership, whether it be the mayor or whoever, if you don't have them taking a strong stance against violence, showing a strong, solid, like partnership with the blue, if you don't see that happening in your city and in your state, it leaves the door open for this, because you can see there are other areas, and we're just going to say it like Florida, where I'm sure people have the same sympathies with different viewpoints that I don't necessarily agree with, but you don't see them harassing the men and women in blue. You don't see them blocking streets. What did DeSantis say? If you're going to protest and block an intersection, you're going to get run out. Like we're not going to. People you don't get in my way, is what I think it was kind of saying.
Yes,
and it's not because we want violence.
Unless you want to be a speed bump. I'm just. Oh my God. I probably shouldn't have said that, but it is what it is. I said it, can't take it back. So it's like toothpaste.
Those words can't come back in. No. But it's not just Boston.
No.
It's also Chicago. I know this video doesn't have any sound, but I want to show it to our viewers. This is Chicago. This is Chi-Town. Right downtown there where they, if we can roll that video. Right downtown there. This is where they had, I was a part of when the Bulls had their three-peat celebration, the Chicago Bulls. Bears, they did have a winning record at some point, but this is where we'd always have all of those parties, is downtown Chicago. Now you see it, these protesters. What are they protesting, Allie? They're protesting the ICE officers that are coming in to try to clean up the streets. And they're blocking traffic.
Which is completely crazy to me, because these are the same people that voted to have illegals put in the city.
Yeah.
And now it's crime-ridden, and you're complaining that the government, because your local police force can't do the job or is unwilling to do the job to get rid of the criminals in your
frustrated.
town.
I've had the pleasure of some of them. They reach out. We've got family in the area. They're frustrated.
Yeah.
Chicago police, and here's what happens, Allie, between the jab mandates, between on all the wokeism, the DEI hiring, and then now not having their back, all the people that just want to be a good police officer, male or female, feel like they can't do their job.
Right. So without either feeling like they're losing their job or whatever it is. But this is insanity. And I really do think that we need to start looking into who's funding them. I know we are. It's good that we are doing that because we need to know.
Absolutely.
It's not organic.
This is one local journalist. I think she's in Florida, but I think she lives in Florida. But she's been out and about. If you see her pull up with a microphone to your event, whether you're Antifa or you're right or left, it doesn't matter. She's going to ask the tough questions.
Yeah.
She's just going to video what's going on. This is what I mean by you and I really need to be doing this together. This is an ICE rally that some young MAGA men and women showed up to sort of have their voices heard. But I want you to listen to some of the questions that this independent journalist asks afterwards. Take a listen. Christ is king.
Jesus Christ, now forever.
Welcome here, no hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here, no hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here.
So her sign says, "Have you punched a Nazi today?" Who do you consider a Nazi? Because on the other side, she has something about Turning Point. Are you encouraging people to punch the students that are at the Turning Point event? That is so bizarre. Not one single Turning Point conference goer, not one single MAGA person here today has done anything like this, talking about violence or anything. And yet she has a sign blatantly saying, "Make sure you punch people today." And by the way, all of you watching, they consider you all Nazis. So you have a vest on. Is it really okay for people in your march to hold up signs about punching people?
Immigrants are welcome
okay
here.
with that sign that says, "Have you punched a Nazi today?" Are you okay with that?
Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here.
Is that okay? Encouraging people to punch others?
Welcome here.
If they're Nazis, yes. Who is a Nazi?
You.
You say me?
Yeah, probably.
I'm a Nazi, so you think I should be punched?
Caitlin Bennett?
So you think I should be punched?
You.
What evidence?
Well, and here's the thing.
Do we not know what Nazis are? Clearly not.
Here's the thing.
I
had to. So
no words. It's hard. Words are hard at this point.
When she asked a question, and all they could do was chant, a slogan, something they were told to say, it shows you that they're incapable of putting together a string of thoughts independently of any other influence. It's not, no common sense, no integrity to be able to seek out some kind of answer on your own.
It's
Only response
lack of consciousness, if you think about it.
Oh, yeah,
because it's unconscious behavior when you're just repetitive that way.
And that's why I love the way she kept asking the question. So who's a Nazi? So, and then when she said probably you, so I should be punched. So do you think it's, and they again when she kept going down this rabbit hole of asking these questions, this is called the Socratic method. This is what Charlie Kirk did so well. Is as soon as they asked him a question, he wanted to kind of find out more about, well, where are you coming from with this? Because I'm going to find out what's feeding you. And that's the thing that I'm going to poke a hole in because it's based off of just feelings and not true fact.
Right.
So I kind of like this reporter did the same thing. That kind of reporting, though, it makes you unemployable for most news networks. Just FYI.
I mean, it makes you unemployable after you even do it. If you just decide to do it one day and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, and then you go and you give your resume, what have you been doing the last 12, 20 years? And you're like, oh, I've been independent news journalist, and then they Google you and they're like, oh,
that person?
Yeah. So
you're going to bring accountability?
We're just going to have to do this for the rest of our lives.
Which is why you should share, and subscribe.
And buy a box of cigars to celebrate, okay? Use promo code OpenMic for 10% off your order because It's time to celebrate. Who doesn't want to celebrate with cigars that tell a history lesson?
What are we celebrating? Here is the just some pictures from that the White House has posted. President Trump hosted yesterday independent journalists for basically an Antifa roundtable. He's talking about the epidemic of left-wing violence. Again, we are not the same. We are not. This is not a both sides of the aisle issue. One side is assassinating those because they cannot stand to hear their political viewpoint. The other side is just getting involved and engaged. Again, our weapon of choice is our microphone. So I want to just take a quick listen. This first clip, Allie, is Andy Ngo. And I did not know his story.
I didn't either until I heard him. That's good.
It's a little bit lengthy, but I do want to listen to most of it. Take a listen to what happened to him as an independent journalist at one of these Antifa riots. Listen.
And I was assigned to cover the election night demonstrations. Well, the elections night protests turned to riots, 3 days of violent rioting in Portland, and it was the first time that I saw groups dressed in black with their faces covered. This was 4 years before COVID. Some of them were waving the black flag of anarchism, some the red flag of Marxism. And within seconds, they would ravage one street to another, to another, to another. And the next day, I would read the legacy media, which I still read at that time and looked forward to, and I looked up to those journalists. And I was really shocked to see that the narrative was that these, in my view, anti-democratic political violence was legitimate acts of protest because people were concerned about racism or all these other lies. And so for the next 4 years, I just continued going out with my video camera. I thought, look, people can ignore what I write because of spin, but videos can quite speak for themselves. And in 2019, it led to me nearly losing my life. I was covering another Antifa protest turned riot. At that point, had been routine in Portland, and then I was ambushed in a mob beating. And I had never been in a fight. I didn't even realize that I was being assaulted until seconds in.
We can bring it back.
The punches came from everywhere.
And this was part of what Chad Caton was talking about on X, is that he's onto it because he's kind of got this military mindset anyway. But he was live and he'd kind of say, look, they just kind of walk past you, and then before you know it, they're behind you, and that's exactly what their motive is. They kind of get around you to surround you.
It is very militant. It is very, very militant, and a lot of people don't see that. But because the legacy media refuses to air these viral videos, these videos have gone viral around the world, okay? These aren't just some regular, they are regular, but to us, they're journalists. These are the ones that we lean on for information, boots on ground, in the moment.
Yes.
They're like war correspondents when they're in Portland and in Chicago.
Absolutely.
These places.
That's a great representation.
It really is. And you should have been with us when I really wish you would have been able to go live when we were listening to Chad Caton while he's live on the street. And he's like, I got to be sequestered and I'm trying to watch Nick Sortor's back. I'm trying to watch My Six. And he's like, we're a bunch of MAGA patriots, MAGA military veterans, and we're really just trying to watch each other six to make sure that we're not being surrounded, we're not being attacked. It really is like military mindset. And it's the fact that our legacy media is not showing this at all and won't even talk about it is a major problem. And I'm disappointed that the Smith Modernization Act was not brought up in this meeting. I know that it was a high stakes and very emotional and a lot of other things that were very important were brought up, but that is something that needs to be talked about, especially in a room where you have the antithesis, right? You have the juxtaposition,
the answer to it,
between actual journalism and legacy media.
And this gentleman, Andy Ngo, he suffered a brain bleed, a hemorrhage in his brain. He nearly died. He did survive it, but some of the liberal media were actually saying that he was kind of elaborating his story a bit. Everything was caught on video. And what he said is so important about getting it on video. I can write and type and post my viewpoints all day long. But if I just stand there with a camera and you see for yourself, you can't deny facts that your eyes see. And this brings me to a point that I wanted to make for our viewers. We always used to say, Allie, that if I were alive during Nazi Germany, I would have said something. I would have stood up. I would have said something. Why did people not see what was happening? Why did they not know until they saw the Nazi soldiers coming into their town? Why did they not know? Why did we not know for so long in places like Vietnam the true conditions that were happening there? Because we did not have a freedom of the press, so to speak, to be able to go in and just show. So I've had people ask me, why are these people going into harm's way? If you know Antifa's outside of a Portland ICE facility, then just stay away. Are you kidding me? Do you not want to know what's happening on the West Coast? Because it'll just be a few months before it's in your backyard.
Right.
This is the same thing as Paul Revere. The British are coming. This is the British are coming moment.
Be an ostrich with your head stuck in the sand.
Or somewhere else.
Or up your butt. You just...
I did what she did. She said, here, hold my chai tea latte.
My chai tea latte. Pecan, please, because we don't do pumpkin.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why it's important for the Chad Caitons and the Nick Sortors to be out there showing you this is what's taking place. Because
ignorance is not bliss.
Ignorance is not bliss, which brings us to our next video. And we are going to spend quite a bit of time on this because I think these people are really the tip of the spear right now, journalistic speaking. They are bringing the viewpoint, the actual pictures to you and I through social media of what's taken place. This is Nick Sortor as he discusses what took place, what happened to him.
Trump, you mentioned that flag. So remember, you put out a truth right after
that's right. I saw that.
Took this flag from that man that was burning it in the street.
I saw it. Do you know who he is?
Oh yeah, I know exactly who it is.
So why don't you give it to Pam? Give it to the Attorney General, and let's start prosecutions.
Yeah, I actually have a second flag that he tried to burn as well.
That was a yummy morsel.
So what happened when that flag started burning? Everyone went crazy. And that's when it started, when they started burning the flag. So thank you. If you could give the information, it would be great.
Absolutely.
And at least that horrible night made you famous.
I got a text from the President of the United States, so I appreciate that.
And President Trump.
That's amazing.
And Allie, to be honest, and so that's obviously Jack Posobiec, who we interviewed at Turning Point, sitting right next to him there, a good friend of Charlie Kirk. But so I could not turn off that live.
I couldn't either.
When I first saw that, I thought, oh my gosh. Oh my! And then the camera kind of gets bumped and you can't see what's happening.
And I'm freaking out because I'm trying to text, and I'm like, I don't want to text him because I know they're busy. But I'm like my warrior spirit. I just want to teleport through the phone.
And I was like, Michelle, I think we need to go to Portland. And I'm like, Kelly, we're 5-3 on a good day.
But my brothers are in the street. You don't understand. Hold my earring. This.
And I'm like this. I'm like, you can't go, Allie. You can't go, Allie. Let's go hit the gym. You're okay?
She's like, let's go to the gym, throw some weight on it. I'm like, I need to box or wrestle. I can't.
That is my answer to everything. We're going to throw some weight on it at the gym because that's how you work out aggression. That's how we do.
I'm so glad my boys are safe.
They are back home.
I'm glad. But part of me is really mad.
And so part of me, in my gut, when they were like, so pass it on to Pam Bondi, I was like, no. Oh. There's so much we're waiting on her to do. Oh. I love you, Pam.
Don't let it get lost on the desk. Okay.
Don't let the desk become my laundry basket or things just go to disappear. Don't do that. Don't do that. Can we talk to us?
I think you can handle it for sure.
I want to have a moment of just real honesty.
This is good. I like this part.
Face to face. We all know somebody in our family, in our friend group who we love, irregardless, who is currently suffering. Are you suffering from Trump derangement syndrome?
You know, answer my spam calls from now on.
You know somebody who's currently suffering from Trump derangement syndrome? Well, we have good news for you. If you take a heavy dose of truth.
Thank you for calling the TDS hotline. How may I help you?
With that voice, you're going to have somebody calling. They're going to be like, well, I want to talk to Allie. Take a listen to this young, beautiful, independent journalist who will be very honest with you that she's a recovering TDS person. Take a listen.
To the federal government to bear. I talked to Katie Davis Court in Portland the other day. She'd been assaulted all summer. And she said the same thing. They didn't seem quick to violence as soon as you made that designation. So they're thinking in their heads, they're worried. There's been 24 or so arrested in Portland. They don't want to go to federal prison. There's this video of them, one of them who was in the face of an ICE agent, and then he's in custody shaking. Once you take the mask off, they're nothing. Right. And I was told by probably a dozen people not to tell you this. I'm going to tell it to you anyway, because it's relevant to what we're talking about. I'm living proof that you can recover from TDS. I had strong Trump derangement syndrome for probably 8 years. This is one of the reasons I recovered from it. And by the way, it's much better to not have TDS. I'm happier, I'm healthier, more successful. I even think I got a little more attractive after I got rid of my Trump derangement syndrome. Yes. You know, I'm a reporter in Seattle, and frankly, I could not care any less what any of you have to say about this meeting. Could not care any less. We're not here for you. Wow. I'm not here to convince any of you that Antifa is a real thing, because if you have not come to that conclusion by now, you are never going to come to that conclusion because you don't want to see it. And you're going to go and you're going to say it's a bunch of right-wing conservative influencers who are here spinning a tale. I was one of you. I was a mainstream reporter in Seattle for 10 years. I was a TV reporter on the streets doing my job, and I was still assaulted by Antifa. So it's not about being conservative. It's about people who go there and show what they're doing. And when I saw, after all those years, that the media wouldn't be honest about what was happening, that Democratic politicians wouldn't be honest about what was happening, I thought, well, gosh, if they're not being honest about that, maybe they're not being honest about President Trump either. And it opened my mind to just looking at things for what they were. And now I find you quite funny, actually. Now
I love that. I love it.
That is Brandy Cruz. And
she's amazing.
Yeah.
She has really great insight.
And beautiful.
I guess she is.
It's beautiful.
Very, very
I mean, I like what she said. You take them out of their mob mentality and you take their mask off. And they kind of crumble. And that's what makes me feel like there's almost, and I'm not going to get too spiritual, but I am, because we are both believers. And I'm sure, you know, we have some out in our audience that are as well. It's kind of like when you get this demonic cult type feel, you get overtaken by it. And we've seen this happen not just in today's days, but we've seen it happen in a lot of other instances throughout our nation's history. When you get pulled aside from that and out of that, it's kind of like you break those chains of bondage, and they almost crumble like a child in weeping, because you almost don't know what just took place. It's like you're unconscious with it. You're just taking over this mob mentality. And I think this is not only what we've seen with the extremism in a lot of our colleges and universities across the country, but the reason that age group, sort of that 18 to 26-year-old, is so prime for this is because if you think about it, if we all remember the stages we went through growing up, it's like you get to the teenage years and you're rebellious. And then you get like a little older teens and you're not just rebellious, but you think you're right about everything. And so now you're looking for a mission. And that's why these people that are funding this extreme evil, they look for that age group to try to get them turned on to something that is extreme, tell them a lie about it, and then it's like they're hooked. So kudos to her for speaking out about this.
That's awesome.
Do you want to move on to Katie's? Katie Daviscourt. She's the beautiful journalist that's still got a shiner on her right eye. Take a listen.
Goodness.
Group is exactly what this group is. It's a long time coming. I'm an investigative journalist from Seattle. I work for the Post Millennial alongside Andy No and Jack Posobiec. I have been infiltrating Antifa cells in Seattle and Portland for the past decade. I know their inner workings, and Antifa uses extreme political violence to crush the civil rights of their political enemies and believes that violence is justified by any means necessary. But today, I want to focus on what is happening in Portland at the ICE facility. I've been covering this for the past 4 months, and this is a call out to corporate media who has completely ignored this story or has falsely reported on it. This is nothing short other than a sustained attack on the United States, which is being supported by Democratic elected officials. The Portland Police Bureau has completely abandoned several blocks outside the ICE facility, giving away their jurisdiction to a terrorist group who has spent the past 4 months harassing, assaulting, and intimidating anyone they perceive to be against their cause. Not only have federal agents been relentlessly assaulted for more than 100 consecutive days, black-clad anarchist militants concealing their identities behind black facial coverings have been assaulting reporters just for trying to cover their crimes. Today, I am sitting here with a black eye and a concussion after being violently hit in the face with a metal pole while reporting outside the ICE facility just this past week. After the attack, I immediately went to three Portland police officers who refused to detain the suspect. I took the time to chase down the suspect in the streets, had her held for 35 minutes. I was waiting for Portland police to come, and they never came. Then that's what opened my eyes to what this group is actually doing. I watched 20 Antifa militants help my assault suspect escape into an Antifa safe house that is 1 block away from the ICE facility. And this safe house is where Antifa-affiliated protesters are conducting paramilitary operations. It's where they're arresting, they're showering, they're eating to continue this occupation. I have staked out this safe house and have observed.
When she said I laid down, listen, yes.
She said I had her held for 35 minutes and I went to 3 different cops and nobody came to assist me. That is absolutely ridiculous. That shows that the police department in Portland has been taken over by terrorists, domestic terrorists, by criminals, by these groups. And then the fact that she says that she watched 20 militants take this person who assaulted her, could have broken her face, actually, the metal pole.
She's partially healed when you still see that black eye that she's got. But
gracious. Take her into a house to like recuperate, and where they're conducting paramilitary operations. I mean, that's just wild. Who's funding that? And they even talked about it in the roundtable. So that's just wild. Crazy.
Neville Singham is one of them. We've got the Soros twins there. Yeah. But this is war on our soil.
Yes, this is
war.
Yeah,
it's a different phase of the war, right? The first part of the war was the infiltration across the southern border.
And the mind virus.
Absolutely, through Biden and Harris. But this is stage 2. So now they're here. And I don't say that for us to rise up violently. But if you notice, even throughout Portland, in Chicago, even Boston, those that are, I guess you could say, on the right, or those that are just common sense Americans that show up to video what is going on there, they don't retaliate with violence. When I saw the way Nick Sortor was attacked and the way they got, of all people, Chad Caton, which to get Chad Caton to the mat, like he's a solid guy. He's not going down easily. So you know it was a mob mentality that took them down. They still did not. He could have.
And he said he held back because if he would have let his
Caton-ness out,
his CB come alive, he'd be in jail. And that's what he kept saying on the spaces was, you know, if I was doing this, if I actually retaliated, I would be in jail. They would not be okay.
Yeah.
And it was really hard for him to even understand what was going on with the cops because he's so, let's back law enforcement, back law enforcement. He's like, but at the end, I'm telling cops to kiss my ass. He's like, and I don't do that. Like, that's not something that I do normally. But when you are clearly on the side of anarchy and you're allowing it, I got a problem with you. And I like that.
Well, there's another story we want to share. This is independent journalist Nick Shirley giving his story. Let's just take a listen.
So I've been able to go to 15 countries. I've hung out with people in the gangs of Brazil, in the favelas, in the prisons of Secot. But yet the most dangerous places I have been here in the United States, unfortunately. And I've had the opportunity to show people about the protest Antifa here in the United States, and there's nothing organic about what they are doing here in the United States. I've watched people be bussed in from states. I've watched the same lady at a protest in Atlanta be bussed to protest in DC and then in New York City. There's nothing that is honest about what they are doing. And they have signs. I've seen the same signs here in DC and in London as well. It's a big organization and corporation.
So being bussed around, I mean, that's expensive. It's expensive to travel. You know what? It's expensive to travel from Central America up across the Panama, through Panama, that area, up through South and Central America, up through Mexico and across the southern border. It's expensive. And they're not doing it with, like, you know, flip-flops on. Nobody's doing that. I understand. This is an expensive thing. It's been mass migration, mass infiltration, and it's expensive. So if you're seeing the same faces in London protesting and now in Boston, and they were in Portland last weekend, that tells me this is highly coordinated.
Yeah, I mean, there's some talks about how Antifa is being infiltrated using the homeless shelters, and the NGOs. Our tax dollars are actually funding this because funding this organization, some of it anyway, by them going through homeless shelters and other non-government organizations, and they're weaponizing the homeless.
Yes,
they're incentivizing them to go and conduct some of these crimes.
Day 2 in Portland, Chad Caton's talking to somebody who gets doused with a cup of urine that they paid a homeless guy to do.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're homeless and you're drugged out on whatever, or homeless,
and all you want is like another fifth of vodka,
So it's very interesting. Our hats off to these men and women who do this. We do it, but these are people that have the means to travel to these areas and show what's being done firsthand. So they are our brothers and sisters in a lot of ways, and we're grateful for them. Guys, we want to make sure you understand that you cannot believe the mainstream media's narrative on this. They're not interested in you understanding exactly what's happening on the streets. That's why you have to keep it locked here to Open Mic, because we will make sure, even for those of you that are not on social media and don't know who some of these speakers are, you'll understand. We'll show you firsthand accounts of what's happening on the ground. Allie, we got to go to a commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about this unique first phase of a peace deal after this.
From the heart of Marietta, Georgia, comes a tribute to the spirit of liberty. Liberty Cigars, where history meets craftsmanship. Each cigar tells a story. The Founders Collection honors the visionaries who shaped a nation. The President's House Collection celebrates the leaders who steered it. And the Naval Series salutes the heroes who defended it. Handcrafted with precision, each blend mirrors the essence of its namesake. From the boldness of George Washington to the elegance of Thomas Jefferson. Indulge in a moment of reflection. Light a Liberty cigar and savor the legacy. Discover your story at libertycigars.com, because every great nation deserves a great cigar. Liberty Cigars, smoke the history. And don't forget to use promo code OpenMic for 10% off your order.
Gold IRA companies are a dime a dozen, especially in conservative media. We vetted out 34 companies and chose Augusta Precious Metals.
With the lowest across-the-board spreads in the gold IRA industry, Augusta saves Americans thousands of dollars.
They are the only major gold IRA company that has zero complaints from their customers. Zero. None.
Augusta Precious Metals does not have commissioned sales reps, which means their goals are aligned with yours.
They were the only gold IRA company that demonstrated integrity and transparency without using gimmicks.
The informative one-on-one web conferences by Augusta Precious Metals answer all of their customers' questions before they make a move.
If you're ready to learn about protecting your wealth and retirement with gold and silver, request your free gold guide from Augusta Precious Metals today.
Visit patriot.tv/gold. That's patriot.tv/gold today.
Checking the chat.
Checking the chat. Not the DMs. All right, guys.
No, don't do those.
Welcome back to Open Mic with Allie and
Stay
Michelle.
out my DM.
We still need to have a DM show. No, then they'll stop. People will stop because they'll be like, oh, we wouldn't give the names. We would just say, you'd be shocked. Welcome to Open Mic with Allie and Michelle. Please make sure you're following at Real Allie Leger, at Michelle Posey, and at Open Mic Ladies on all platforms. Like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you tell your friends. Guys, let's speak briefly about, of course, day one, we get this really good news. Day two, people are already like, well, not so fast because, we're not so sure that this is going to work. Let's take a moment to celebrate. Let's celebrate the victories. Trump went to social media. We'll go ahead and put it up here on the screen. He says, I'm very proud to announce that Israel and Hamas have both signed off on the first phase of our peace plan. Of course, I love this scripture message here. Blessed are the peacemakers, Trump says. And I love that he's got the wherewithal, the knowledge to know that that is true. Blessed are those who try to keep peace, not at all costs, but peace, just trying to. So what does this mean? This means that the 7 countries, including Israel, as well as Hamas, who is the elected power in the Gaza Strip area, that they are all coming together and sort of agreeing. Now, what's so crucial about this expands the Abraham Accords, which Trump did during his first administration. It expands that because we've got some big Arab nations, Arab countries that are on board with this. And Israel is actually taking a bit of a knee to be able to give up some territory and some land. Now, what is Hamas required? Well, there's got to be a stand down from the violence, and they're going to have to release all hostages, which, if you're not aware, I mean, that's from October 7th, from 2023.
2 years ago.
Yeah. So, and that includes live hostages and
bodies,
the remains of those who did not make it. So, are there a lot of Are there a lot of steps to go? Of course. Should we be celebrating this though as well?
Absolutely. This is an amazing. This is an amazing feat. I think in our lifetime we will see peace throughout the world, perhaps, because so many people are coming to the table to work with President Trump. There was even talk in our spaces last night with our good friend James from Pirate Radio. He calls Wednesday nights off the cliff because we usually debate Cliff, who is our resident liberal. But it's all in good. You know, we get a little heated in there because we're just trying to, squash the propaganda and kind of inform him on the things that are actually happening and occurring, aside from whatever the news media is covering. But there was talk that President Trump, they are coming to the table because of President Trump. They have even said that a lot of these Middle Eastern nations, leaders of these nations have come together and said that they wouldn't do this with any other person but President Trump because he stands on integrity. He does what he says. His actions match his words, gentlemen. So this is amazing. It's amazing to see, and he could serve as Secretary of State, depending on who takes the reins next.
Well, and I love this, Allie, because it's true. You and I both know there are people that you're more apt to work with when you understand that there's a mutual respect. Yes. You're not going to agree on everything, but this person seeks to only to represent all sides fairly. A lot of people couldn't believe that he met with Zelensky and then met privately with Vladimir Putin.
Right.
That is exactly the first stage of negotiations. And I'll tell you,
you got to meet with everybody.
Don't just trust open mic ladies on this. This came across this morning, and I'm like, ooh, we got to share this. There is a Middle East peace negotiator. His name's Aaron Miller. He was on Chris Cuomo's show, and again, we don't agree on a lot of things, but listen to even him I wonder if this tasted like vinegar. He had to give Trump kudos for this. Take a listen.
Donald Trump on this one has demonstrated a degree of will unlike any other president, Republican or Democrat. He has pressed an Israeli prime minister in a way that none of his predecessors have ever done on an issue that prime minister considers vital to his political survival and the way he would define Israeli security requirements. So on this one, Chris, the sun, the moon, and the stars, Hamas is weaker. The Arabs impose significant pressure. The Qataris and Turks, not an Arab country, a Muslim country, and Donald Trump. Sun, the moon, and the stars aligned to be able to envision an implementation of the first phase. And from a human point of view, Chris, that's really right now hostages, their families, and Palestinian civilians in Gaza. It offers real hope.
Wow. Amazing. And for our Spotify listeners, Allie did bring out her pom-poms.
Give me a T. We're going to spell out Trump. I mean, listen, you can't suffer from Trump derangement syndrome and also say in the same breath that you like this. I mean, you have to, this should pull you out of your bubble.
It should.
It really should, to say, you know what, listen, I don't have to like every president. There was many that I didn't agree with, but if they're going to do something right, you've got to be able to say that was something that was good.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll let you move on because we could talk about that all day.
Well, let's pivot to Dearborn, Michigan. Again, if independent journalists don't go and film this and show you, you have no idea this is going on. How many of us have loved ones that are up in the Middle East, up in the Midwest, or even Dearborn, Michigan area, anywhere? There's a lot of colleges up there. How many of you are sending your children to Michigan for to go to university? This is happening in Dearborn, Michigan, and the surrounding areas. Now, how would you like to be enjoying your coffee, watching Open Mic Ladies, and have to hear this? Take a look.
We're in Dearborn. This is the call of prayer that goes off 5 times a day here in the United States. you like to hear this blasting through your neighborhood?
We can bring it back, Krista. So here's my gripe about this. Okay, where are my people who are improperly educated and still believe that there's separation of church and state? Not correct. But you scream it at school board meetings.
Yep.
Where are you?
Where'd you go?
Because those are airwaves that all of our ears hear, calling to a public prayer, which is mandated. Okay, you don't have the free will to say if you're going to or not.
No, you have to.
It's calling you to prayer. Your ears are hearing something that you may or may not really want to hear. That's forcing a type of religion down your throat. So even though you're wrong to say there's separation of church and state because we're founded as a Christian nation, where are those screams to say this? You shouldn't be able to blast that. And if you want to call people in when you come in to the mosque, if you obviously then want to play it, whatever. But why is this being allowed to permeate all throughout Dearborn, Michigan? Dearborn, Michigan, most people will tell you it's lost to not only a Muslim community stronghold, but to a lot of extremists within that community who want to see
because they practice Sharia law, and that breeds extremism. Have you seen these videos going across like all over the place where they're literally surrounding a woman who is hung up by her arms and being beaten with a belt or a shoe, or being thrown rocks at her because of whatever? But all of the men are surrounding and like cheering on. That's Sharia law. The fact that a man can rape his wife's sister and she's forced to marry him and have his children. That's Sharia law. The fact that these men are marrying child brides at the age of 9 years old, that is Sharia law.
Where are the feminists? The ones that now can't tell. Maybe this is why they can't tell the difference between a man and a woman. You know this is wrong.
And you talk about toxic masculinity and the patriarchy, but that's literally what you're giving it away to. I went to an appointment yesterday, and I always wear my 1776, and the guy behind the counter, first of all, camaraderie, because he's a veteran, I'm a veteran. We're talking, and he's like, 1776, what is that? And I looked at him, and I said, the inception of America. And he goes, oh yeah, duh. And kind of like looked at me like a little weird and was like kind of made this face. And I said, it's the best country in the world, baby. And he was like, I've traveled all over the world. I wouldn't say that. And I was like, really? Really? As a veteran, you wouldn't say that America, where we have the most protections of our God-given rights, is not the best place on earth?
Well, because I think people mistake being the best place on earth with being perfect. Nothing's perfect. You understand that. We live in a fallen world. But and this is what
like hurt my heart. I was like, wait a minute.
And this is what gets me about that mentality too. And this is how they get your children in high school and in college, is by bringing up the imperfections of America. America is the only civilized nation that has wrestled with slavery. I'm talking from Moses on all through our history.
We're still wrestling slavery with human trafficking.
Well, but I mean, as far as slavery as we
Bondage.
see it, as we see it. No, and I'm talking race slavery.
Yeah.
We wrestled with that. We battled it. We win. We're better people.
Yeah.
You can't say that about any other civilized or uncivilized nation on the planet. We are the shining beacon on a hill that Reagan called us, but not if we don't protect it. Allie, can we make fun of Nancy Pelosi a little bit?
Sure, let's do it.
So we've been telling you that the Schumer siesta is because the Democrats.
Speaking of Schumer,
you can share that post too, but because the Democrats, they've passed 13, 14 clean CRs, resolutions of spending, just kicking the bucket down the road for
at COVID levels.
Absolutely, not really balancing the budget. We might not like it, but they've done it to keep the government open until now, because apparently there was some $1.5 trillion that the Democrats wanted to push towards giving illegals free health care. You and I don't have free health care. We have a mandate, thanks to Obamacare, where we have to buy health care or we're fined. But illegals will get free health care under this. The Republicans said absolutely not, so they shut down the government. It's a clean CR. There was no addition in spending. And this is Nancy Pelosi going on mainstream media. Even mainstream media pushed back, and she couldn't have an answer for them. Take a look.
I understand what you're saying about where the differences are, and they are very big. they are voting yes on what we say here in Washington, a clean CR, a bill to keep the government running for 7 weeks, and Democrats are voting no, and for the reasons you just said. So how are they shutting down the government?
First of all, it isn't a clean CR.
Okay.
So let's not stipulate to that. It's not a clean CR.
What do they have in
It's
it?
going into that. The point is,
She couldn't. There's a longer pause there. She said, how is it not a clean CR?
And she has no answer because it is a clean CR. It's removing all of the bloat. It's removing the COVID funding that we no longer need. It's also gutting Obamacare, which has put hundreds of thousands of Americans in debt and without health care. And they have to pay a fine for not having health care. Like at the cost of $3,000 a month. That is insane.
Nancy. There's, everybody reaches their peak at some point.
Mind you,
ma'am, you are over it.
Our military families are having to turn to food pantries because they're not getting their paycheck. TSA and our FAA have to close down airports or delay flights because there's not enough workers.
Fabulous.
Right? Then you have there's VA programs are being there's all these federal programs that are being halted, but Punchbowl News has interviewed Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer.
Jeez. Okay, let's hear
and he says that every day gets better for us, the Democrats.
Wow.
So while Americans are suffering under the closure, this hostage situation that the Democrats have put us in because we don't want to fund illegals and we don't want to fund foreign projects that include circumcision for people in Zimbabwe, that's what's happening. Every day gets better for you, sir? Really? Because it sure as hell isn't better for the Americans.
You know why it gets better for them, Allie? Because their pay isn't included. It's being cut.
They don't care.
If you cut the paychecks of everybody elected in Congress right now until the government figures this shit out, you would see really quickly how it would be in their vested interest. Are you tired yet of the divide? Ooh, yes. Allie, I know just for the sake of time, I want to move just a little bit. Oh, wait, do you want to share?
No, I did already.
Okay, because we've got some really, really ballsy representatives that are out there saying exactly that, and we're thankful for you guys. The Palisades fire, remember the beautiful communities of Malibu? There was, I think, over 2,000 acres that burned not so long ago, and obviously the leadership within California just, didn't have water in the fire hydrants during the peak of fire season. The Santa Ana winds always pick up same time of year, and they were completely unprepared, caught with their pants down, so to speak. So there's an arrest now for the Palisades arson fire. His name's Jonathan. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. But I want you to take a look here. This is authorities talking briefly about what they found.
Good morning. I'm Bill Asaley, the acting United States Attorney for the Central District of California. Today, we are announcing the arrest of 29-year-old Jonathan Rinderknecht for igniting a fire that ultimately burned down the Palisades earlier this year, killing 12 people, destroying more than 6,800 structures, both homes and businesses, and damaging over 1,000 more buildings. The complaint unsealed today charges the...
So I'm gonna play a little bit of B-roll here. This is what it looked like when that Palisades fire first started. They actually called it a vegetation fire. I don't know if we can roll that. I don't think there's any sound to it. But so take a look at that. Now, as this chopper kind of pans out, take a look to the left. Do you see that huge reservoir?
Yeah. That's supposed to be filled with water.
Now, you have to understand, the state of California reroutes water back to the Pacific Ocean because of a stupid fish called a smelt that they're trying to say, is they're trying to protect. You can dive into that outside of this show, but I just want to show you that is that's what's happening. But now look at this screenshot, because obviously we do our research.
Let it boil a little more after the Schumer shutdown.
You tug the string. Look, the arsonist that was responsible for that fire has donated routinely to the Biden-Kamala campaign 2020 through Act Blue. So we just want to always make sure we share receipts on exactly who people are. Think about their mentality. This isn't like somebody who's an environmentalist. What is behind this? I hope people keep investigating how somebody who would link arms with Kamala Harris and Biden, why wouldn't they want to? Why would you be starting a wildfire in the peak of fire season when you know that the reservoir is empty and they've laid off so many of their first responders? And
this is another rabbit hole you can jump down. He had a ChatGPT that had videos and pictures of him drawing these images of the Palisades on fire. So just hop down that rabbit hole Just hold on tight.
Hold on tight. Hold on tight. And maybe attach a bungee cord so you can find your way back out. Another rabbit hole that we can go down, but this is honesty. I apologize, the audio is not the best, but you will be able to hear it. This is a recording now that is surfaced, an audio recording of none other than Joe Biden talking about shortly after Trump's 2016 inauguration. So they shocked the world that Trump beat Hillary. Here is then Vice President, now go on his way out, talking about Trump coming in and potentially seeing flames over Ukraine and going, what's that? What's that spending going on? Take a look.
November 16, 2016, 2 weeks after Donald Trump's victory, Joe Biden is on the phone with Poroshenko. His voice tenser now than before.
This is getting very, very close. What I don't want to have happen, I don't want Trump to get in the position where he thinks he's about to buy onto a policy where the financial system is going to collapse and he's going to be looked to pour more money into Ukraine. That's how he'll think about it before he gets sophisticated enough to know the details.
In other words, Biden does not want Ukraine asking for more money from Trump. Doing so would cause Trump to look into the details.
So anything you can do to push the Privat Bank to closure so that the IMF loan comes forward, I would respectfully suggest is critically important to your economic as well as physical security.
Critically?
An outgoing vice president giving foreign leaders directives against the now elected new president who hasn't been sworn in, obviously, at this point. Didn't they try to push something like that on General Flynn? What is that act called again?
The Logan Act.
Logan Act, that part.
Until we see handcuffs, nothing is going to change. This is literally evidence of bribery from a sitting representative.
When you said handcuffs, it just made me, and I know we're out of time, but Allie, I'm watching Real America's Voice this morning, their morning show, and I'm seeing that we don't have a mugshot for James Comey.
And he snuck in and snuck out.
We don't even have video of him walking in as he's being indicted. Do you remember seeing Roger Stone, they raided him and his wife like in the wee hours of the mornings. Pete Navarro. Yeah. We've had tons of people arrested with mugshots under the Trump administration, falsely, by the way. Not a single one. Somebody, I'm sorry, Pam Bondi, I love you. You're from Florida, but what
is happening?
Guys, keep it locked here to Open Mic throughout the day on social media because we will keep you up to date on the happenings of what's going on. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And most importantly, don't miss tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be our Freedom Friday. We're going to have fun. Our sombreros haven't come in yet, so I don't know. We do the sombrero thing.
Makes me so mad. All right, you guys. I suggest your call to action today is to call the Senate Democrats and tell them to open up the government. We love y'all. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.